The curse continues. We were told 43, but alas, today we learned that only 42 countries will sing at Eurovision 2018. Let's talk about it. Yes, in 2016, Romania was pulled from the contest at the last minute, and last year, Russia decided not to show, meaning 42 and 42, down from 43 and 43. And the country that is out this year is the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. They've accrued endless debt, the amount of which is somewhat fuzzy and gray, but we know it was a lot and that it's been building for quite some time. And that might explain why some of their acts have not been that amazing on stage. Love a lot of those studio tracks. In any case, you guys, what do you think about Macedonia's withdrawal?
I think it's always sad to lose a country because there's one less country there at the party and then all the fans aren't there, and it's just sad in general. But from a competitive angle, we're not losing a whole lot. Like, we're obviously losing all the diversity of the different types of songs, but Macedonia haven't been on the ball in a long, long time, because the last time they were in the final was back in 2012 with Calliope, and ever since then, they haven't had an act that people have kind of been like, that's definitely in the final. This year's studio version, people are like, that's definitely in the final. But once rehearsals started, she was gone. So like, in a way, it could do good because, like Portugal took a year back off, came back with a vengeance and won.
Yeah, I think it's something that we've always said with Macedonia. You know, they're not very good at the staging and they're not very good at this and that. And it is sad to lose them, because they do sometimes come with something that's very unique to them. I mean, Esma and Lozano, it wasn't great, let's be fair, but at least it was unique to them. You wouldn't probably hear that anywhere else. But recently, it's not been like there's been anything special from them. I mean, you could have had Dance Alone for any country, really. You could have had Daniel K. Makowski. I can't even remember who they had in 2016, to be honest. Yeah. So it's just one of those where I'm kind of sad to see any country go the same, but I'm not going to be crying too much about Macedonia going unless they were going to come with some big Balkan pop banger this year.
Yeah, it's funny how they're having budgetary issues, and when we look at their failures at Eurovision, it often comes down to budget in some way. For instance, Esma and Lozano, that was cool. With better staging, it could have maybe made the final, but it was like they were standing in an empty room. You know, same with Yana Borcheska this year. They could have done stuff with that song. I thought she was very charismatic on stage. It was a great studio cut. They had ambitions, but they just couldn't carry them out. I mean, there were a number of reasons, including the Ukrainian organization. In any event, my point is this. They often misallocate funds. Look, in 2015, Daniel Kazimierski, he spent his money on Blackstreet. Why would you do that? They had a hit like decades ago. It just doesn't make any sense. No diggity. But I am hopeful that they will, like Portugal, take some time out and come back stronger. But also like Ukraine, who left in 2015 and then came back in 2016 and won. That's all very positive. Now, look, we should move on to countries that have now finally confirmed. We kind of knew they were coming, but today we got the official announcement. One is Moldova. After placing third last year, their best result ever, there was no way they weren't going to come back.
Yeah, of course. Like, it was strange that they left it for so long, but and people were probably worrying about money because Moldova isn't exactly the richest country, but sure, they had to come back after such a success. And yeah, it's nice that they'll be back because hopefully they're back on point. They had a few years where they were kind of had lost their sheen a bit because they didn't qualify between 2014 and this year. But they always bring something exciting, even when they're bad. Like Christina Scarlett had her hair being ripped off, and Edward Roman used to have weird stripper police. Yeah, it's great that they'll be there.
Yeah, Moldova are kind of that, like the anti-Macedonia in that I'm always entertained by Moldova. I'm not always entertained by Macedonia, but definitely Moldova I've always enjoyed, even if they've not done that great recently. So yeah, I was very happy to see them back. Yes, they have money issues, but you know, if they have to do an internal selection, they do have a good enough pool of people who they could pick from for that. So yeah, very, very glad to see them back, certainly, and hopefully they'll keep on going well after Sunstroke Project.
Absolutely. They could, use the money from the royalties on Spotify because they've been going global to pay for participation. I'm just kidding. I know they make next to nothing streaming. It's like 0.001 of a cent per stream or something. In any case, we move on to Russia. Mother Russia returns following a very, very controversial Eurovision 2017. There's a lot to discuss here. First off, will Yulia Samoylova be the act? She was promised. She subsequently said they still haven't gotten in touch with her. We had an interview with Philip Kirkorov, who's always very close to the selection, and he says, maybe Yulia's time has passed. She doesn't really need it anymore, he said. Sergei has hinted to us directly in interviews in Azerbaijan that he would like to go if he finds the song in the team. So there's a big cloud of smoke surrounding that, but it's good to know that they will be back for sure. Channel 1, the broadcaster that alternates with another network to run it, they're doing it again this year, perhaps because they said, we missed our chance last year, so we're going to make up for it now. It's all very, very interesting. Boring.
I think Yulia Samilova needs to brush up on her Swedish Melody Festival in history and look at the story of Anna Buk, who sat down by the phone, expecting organisers to ring her up after she was expelled from the previous year's competition, similar to Yulia, but for different reasons. And she was promised at the time that she would get a song and she would have a spot. And she sat by her phone and she did nothing all year long. And then she didn't get a spot. Yulia seems to be playing the same game, because in that interview she was saying, I haven't heard anything yet. It wasn't a case of, I rang and they weren't able to tell me anything. It was a case of somebody has to get in touch with her. And if Philip Kirkorov isn't bothered, the likelihood is that the rest of the Russians aren't bothered. Because even though she was on the X Factor, our Russian correspondent Diana told us last year that she was a complete unknown in Russia. So Philip Kirkorov is talking nonsense when he's like, her time has passed, she doesn't need Eurovision anymore. Of course she does, because she's nobody. But Russia are coming back with a vengeance. Like last year they were playing games. They've no games to play with Portugal, so they'll be back in it to win it again.
Yeah, I let's be fair, even if they didn't send Yulia, I don't think that Russia's PR department is going to care when people are like, but you just picked her for this reason or that reason. They don't care. They'll send somebody they'll send Sergei, or they'll send Alsu, or they'll send somebody amazing, or Nusha, and they'll send somebody and it'll be great and everybody won't care because it'll be an amazing pop song. Because that's what Russia do. Russia, when they want to do well at Eurovision, Russia do well at Eurovision. That's the end all and be all of it, really. I can definitely see. I feel sorry for Yulia if they don't send her, because I do think she probably did genuinely want to do it, and she is definitely keeps referencing it. But at the same time, yes, if she wants to do it, be more active about it, or maybe she has. We don't know. But I just see Russia deciding to do what they want to do. Channel 1. They've come back for some reason to do it, so maybe they're going to put something right. Maybe they're paying the fine that they probably got. Who knows? There's definitely... It's an interesting one, and I'll be very intrigued to see how they go about it, whether they wait until the very end like they did with Yulia, or whether it's a much bigger search, a bigger process, or they announce something early this year. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back, really.
At the very least, they owe the woman a plane ticket to Portugal. They need to get her to Eurovision.
Listen to me. What goes around comes around. And people were kind of saying, Yulia Samilova, she's a pawn in this game. They're taking advantage of her. And what did she do during Eurovision? She went off and did a concert in Crimea as if to be like, look at me, I'm in Crimea. This is why I wasn't let come. La, 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 la.
Now listen, honey. I interviewed her about this for Billboard, and she said it was coincidence with a capital C. I just think she's amazing. I love that voice. Love the story. Now look, I think we'll all agree that the return of Russia kind of makes up for the absence of the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. And I hate to say that, but let's be real. Russia could win. They are hungry. They are ambitious. Maybe Sara Alto will finish second to Russia. Who knows? I just know Russia's going to bring something amazing, because after what happened last year, they want to be like, bam!
They want their revenge. They want to make sure Ukraine can't come in 2018 or 2019 or whenever it'd be.
Yeah, it's like, we beat you so bad, you don't want to even come in 2019.
I just think that, it does go to the point that at least with Macedonia, you could occasionally get something authentic. Russia, I suppose the babushki were authentic-ish, but it is sometimes very manufactured. But at the same time, would I rather a great manufactured pop song versus a poor ethnic Balkan song? I'd probably choose the manufactured one, so...
Silicone for the win. Porig.
I don't think I have much more to add. Like, Russia make it more exciting, Macedonia make it more interesting, but they're never there in contention. So, like, Russia's addition is going to make it a more exciting contest, and it's going to get the contest more publicity because there's going to be all the political toing and froing around it too, and the controversy they bring kind of, in a way, boosts the interest in the competition at the same time.
Amen. That is all we have to say. What do you think? Are you excited that Russia is back? Are you sad that FYROM is out? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
Make sure to subscribe.
And please comment, like, tell us whether you're sad, whether you're happy. Do it all in the comments below.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.